Today, we're going to tackle on a huge question that a lot of people tend to ask. Should I buy or should I rent? And right here in back of me, we have 9 different benefits of home ownership. Number 1, building long-term wealth. It costs to live, right? So you're either paying your landlord or you're paying down your mortgage. So if you're paying your landlord, that dollar's gone forever. But if you're paying down your mortgage, that dollar is going into an asset that you own. So number 1, we get to build long-term wealth. Number 2, tax advantages. All right, talk to a CPA, right? First and foremost. But when you're paying interest on your mortgage payment, that is tax deductible, and there are other costs to home ownership that you're able to also write off. So again, talk to your CPA. Number 3, your mortgage payments are going to stay the same. This is if you get a fixed rate. Low interest rates are very low, so payments tend to be a little bit lower. But for the next 30 years, if you don't refinance, that payment is going to stay the same. It's not like rents, it's going to be increasing. It's not like owning your property is going to increase over the years. Your mortgage payment is then going to stay the same, right? So that's another benefit. These 3 are gonna add to long-term wealth, and it's kind of piggybacking off the mortgage payment staying the same. But number 1 is inflation, right? So what is inflation? Inflation is the purchasing, like the dollar, decreases its value over time, right? Not necessarily a bad thing, but think about chips when you're growing up, for all of my 90s babies out there. You used to be able to get 4 small bags of chips, 25 cents each, all for $1. Now you can only get that exact same size for $1. That is because of inflation. If we look at the early 1900s, you could get a newspaper for 5 cents. Now you're paying like $2, $3, I don't know. So that's inflation. Appreciation is the value of an asset increasing over time due to numerous factors like high demand, low supply. That's exactly what we're seeing in the housing market right now. Everyone wants to buy a house. The supply is low and the demand is high. That is then going to force some sort of appreciation, and that is the value of the asset is then going to increase over time. Number 6, it deals with inflation and appreciation, but rents are going to increase over time. So if you buy a duplex as your first property, right, your mortgage payments are then going to stay the same, right? And if rents are increasing over time because of inflation, you're then building long-term wealth, right? Because your mortgage payments are right here. Let's say your rents start off here. In 20 years, let's say your rents are up here. Look at the difference, right? You're going to be having more dollar in your pocket. We're building long-term wealth, right? We're thinking long-term, long-term, long-term. Number 7, we get to add value to the asset by upgrading. So let's say you decide to put new windows, new cabinets, fresh paint, carpet, for any of that. We're then increasing the value of the property, right? Because it looks nicer and it has a little bit more love, right? People are willing to pay a little bit higher dollar for something that is well taken care of. Number 8, you have the freedom to make it your own. So if you want to paint the walls of your home purple, pink, or even the outside, you want to paint it a really crazy color, you have every right to do so because it is yours, right? So when you're renting, you have no say in the way that the property looks, right? You get very basic carpet, very basic painting, cabinets, all that, because the landlord is trying to make a certain profit off of it, right? But when you own your home, you can do whatever you want to it, right? You get to make it your own space. And lastly, a huge benefit that not that many people tend to talk about, and is actually very important, is that home ownership plays a vital and huge role in building strong and stable communities, right? So when people purchase their properties, right, they're invested in it, right? They want to take care of their property, right? There's a sense of pride. Now, when they're buying in a community, it's the exact same thing, right? They're there for the long term. So people are not only invested in their homes, but they're invested in their communities. So the more homeowners we have, the better communities we have. And there you have it. There are 9 benefits to purchasing your property as opposed to renting.